Hey, it's Chad here with 72 Cowboy Media. I want to welcome you to the 72 CM podcast. Okay, I want to welcome you guys to episode 5 of the 72 CM podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little heavy, and it's in recognition of this month of June, which is the Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I kind of wanted to talk about men's mental health today because I think this is one of those areas that men especially don't talk about because we're men. And with that, we sort of kind of hold things in and bottle up, and we don't always want to reveal what we're dealing with. And it doesn't necessarily matter with whether you're at a regular job, an office job, or you drive truck for a living, or if you're a farmer. I grew up on a farm in the great state of North Dakota, and we had our ups and downs. And through that process, I learned a lot. I was changed and mentally forged in such a way that it has affected me most of my life. And with that being said, it's been a struggle, and probably one of my biggest, I guess, one of those things that I work through is mental, just having mental issues in general. And I'm not talking on a scale that was large form where I needed to go to a doctor or I needed medication, but there for a while it was a little bit of a struggle. And dealing with mental health or your own mental health and opening yourself up to talking to people was probably one of my biggest sort of things that I just didn't want to do. The stigma of not talking about your feelings, well, let's just say men don't talk about that because we're built to be or taught to be or designed to be, strong men. They're the doers, that we're the ones that pick up the slack, or we're the ones that provide for our families, or we're the ones that have to deal with all the issues and the problems of the world today. And what we probably haven't gotten over yet is the idea that a lot of women, whether we're married to them, girlfriends, friends, family in general, have accomplished a lot in this world. They've become stronger. They've become they've started careers and have raised families and have provided. They've also been standalone parents and have raised children that have grown up to be, whether they're superstar rodeo individuals or if they're superstar basketball players or just your standalone, just regular, hardworking, strong woman who has provided for so much in her community and so much in her family. But for men, that's been a hard road to hoe with that in place because we have struggled to be the providers when now women can also be providers. And so with that, we've struggled to open ourselves up to whether it's a complication, whether it's a new territory that we don't quite understand, is talking about our feelings. If we are dealing with things, we don't want to talk to other women, let alone other men, about the problems that we're dealing with because it's hard, because we're designed this way or we're designed that way. And for me in particular, it's been hard because I've had to deal with a lifelong, the mental framework that's been pretty much burned into my memory because of what had happened as a child. And that's been a struggle to deal with, and it's been a struggle to work my way through it. And to this day, I haven't figured it all out, but I know what I have figured out, and I've become a better person for it. My father, growing up on the farm, was not an ideal individual as far as opening himself up to his feelings, but what he did feel, it usually came out in a very loud and boisterous voice that sometimes felt like it was thunder clapping down hard right into my soul. And for that reason alone, that made struggles for me not only in my childhood, but also in my adult life. And I sort of passed that on to other people with the amount of anger that he dealt with. And a lot of those issues stemmed from trying to keep the family farm together or keep it going on. And in the end, it didn't help, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't finish or continue keeping that farm operating as he would have liked to. And it became evident that we had to sell the farm. And through that process, my dad actually had a life-changing event happen when they sold the farm. They moved to another town and basically started a new life. Now, that didn't solve everything, but it changed in my dad's mind a lot of things that he had to get through or get over or adjust to. And I think for men in today's world, there's been a lot of adjustments that we haven't been necessarily prepared for or mentally have struggled with, that is really hard to narrow it down to one or two things. But for me, I've had to deal with my own issues, my own demons, and I haven't always won those battles, but I haven't lost either. I never gave up. I decided I was going to do things differently. I decided I was going to try to work through my anger issues and work through whatever mental depression that I had. And believe me, I've been through enough to feel that the depression had been such a heavy burden, heavy weight upon my soul that I eventually turned to God. And for me, it was an easy transition because we had grown up with God in our lives. And when I walked away from him for a while, it showed in how I handled certain things in certain situations. So I'm not here to preach to you about God is the only answer, but I am telling you that it was an answer for me. And for you that are struggling with whether it's daily financial issues or if you're running a farm or your job really sucks and you don't know what else to do because you want to provide for your family, believe me, there are other answers other than, I guess, the end of the rope and you leave this world unexpectedly. That's not the answer, and in my mind, that is probably just cheating yourself out of something that you could probably get through, and especially with your family, you could get through. I'll be straight up honest with everyone here. I'm not here to blow sunshine up anybody's butt. So you can take what I have to say as a truth that I'm giving you, or you can take that for what it's worth to you. But in the end, having to open yourself up about your struggles, because I guarantee you, me opening up right now in front of all of you about my struggles is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do or necessarily wanted to do. But I feel like if I can reach out and if I can help at least one of you today, or one of you tomorrow, or one of you down the road, it'll be an accomplishment that most people don't have an opportunity to do. And with what I've dealt with in my life, I feel like I have to give that back to not only you people out there that have struggled with this, to all the men that have dealt with issues in the past, in the future, and presently dealing with right now. There is ways to get help. There are ways to talk about this. There are ways to not solve all your problems, but there are better ways than alcohol, and there are better ways than going down a path that will definitely turn for the worst and will make not only your life miserable, but your family's. And that's what's most important, is your family's life too, because they're a part of this. They're a part of you. They're a part of everything that makes this world good. And we need more of you day day in, day in, day out. So there is no easy path, but there is a path that can get you the help that you need. There are plenty of websites out there where you can go to. You can find a lot of information when it comes to men's mental health. The one place that I looked at was the mayoclinic.org. There's a section in there that talks about men's mental health that can truly help you in ways, even if it's just information you're looking for. Because I know what feels like the end of the world, or there's such this huge weight upon your shoulders right now. There are ways to get through this. There are better days ahead. Sometimes it doesn't always feel that way, but there are better days ahead. Even if there's a hotline that you can call to just talk to a total stranger, at least that gives you an opportunity to open up about maybe there's a struggle or two that you can talk to them about you're dealing with that you can't confront your family. Because the biggest thing about that is that you're afraid that you're going to be an embarrassment to your family because you're not doing the things that you thought you were born to do, or that you were taught to do as a man. Take care of your family, provide for them, give them money, even if you're struggling. Sometimes their help is the biggest thing that you need to do. And I think that's what we have to get through, is realizing that your family is there for you and they want to help. I want you to understand that sometimes what we're struggling with isn't always something simple and you just talk about it. Sometimes it's something that's either born into us, because I believe I was born a little bit different than most strong men in this world. And sometimes it's something that's taught to us. And sometimes that's hard to relinquish that grip or that power that it has over us to do the things that we need to do and hold it in, struggle with it and deal with it, in some other form or fashion. So it comes down to understanding, patience, and just having an open heart and an open mind, and just listen. As much as women complain about men don't listen enough, I think in this respect, women have to listen to men and be open about it, because that's the thing that I think where we miscommunicate with each other, or anybody in general, is that we don't want to listen. We always want to solve the problem. This may not be a problem that gets solved easily, but if it is a problem and we realize that we have a problem, sometimes that's all it takes to open up that door just a little bit, just to see that there is something that has to be dealt with, and it becomes a little bit easier to talk about each time you talk about it. Thanks for watching this episode of the 72CM podcast. I want to make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can find me exclusively on YouTube with the 72CM podcast. Just go to youtube.com and find me at 72 Cowboy Media.